Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Mob Psycho 100, Season 2, Episode 4. So yeah, we're back with another episode of Mob. This is being recorded really late in the week, like later than I had hoped to get to. This week's just been crazy, but Thursday, the day I'm recording this, has been really open. Like, I haven't had to go outside and shovel, I haven't had to really do much of anything. I'm not, because it's Valentine's Day, I'm not going anywhere. I have no one to hang out with or anything to do for Valentine's Day, so it's like, I'm completely free to record a bunch of shit all at once. Which I've never really liked to do because it gets really, just to be honest, really exhausting doing a bunch of recording right in a row. But I've got to at least get some of this out of the way, you know? So yeah, we're doing Mob Psycho, and last episode wasn't as entertaining for me personally. I admitted it was important, but in terms of just general entertainment factor, it didn't quite hold it up for me. And I mentioned that I might have been spoiled by episode 2 being so good that it just kind of wasn't as, well, good for me. But like I said, it was still important. It was definitely important for Mob's character development, getting to see him having that moral struggle between both the worlds of the living and the dead. And yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a big thing coming up in the future. This season is supposed to go more into Mob as a character, so I'm really hoping that they do some really good things with him. That being said, I am excited to see where this goes, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, on my pre-thoughts here, so I know nothing about this episode. We're just going to get on with it. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. 3, 2, 1, now. What? This was episode 4. How many episodes is this going to be? Because this is too... this feels like it's probably too early to have something this big happening. No, this seems like Endgame kind of shit. I'm not even joking. I know this is the guy who created One Punch Man, and all of that, and there's a lot of parody stuff, kind of stuff going on with this. But it's just like, this seems way too early. This, like I said, seems like Endgame stuff. Like, even beyond Claw. There's 13 episodes of this season, apparently. This is episode fucking 4. This means that this is not only not a major villain, that this isn't even one of the main bad guys we're going to be coming up against, that this is not going to be one of even probably close to the strongest. Yet this is the spirit of one of the strongest sidekicks to ever exist. Took out an entire room, probably a couple hundred sidekicks there. Not only possessed this little girl, but began fully merging with her body. Used her to fucking kill her own father. And when Mob uses an out-of-body experience to try and force him out of her body, he just rewrites Mob's memories so that he no longer knows he has psychic powers, and as such won't be able to access them anymore, or whatever. And what was that ending? Was that just like inside Mob's head, or did something happen like to where Mob was brought back to his house and he's just going through life again? And while watching this, I was already shocked enough because of how strong the spirit was, because of what was going on. The entire concept of this episode, everything that was happening with this little girl, her father, all of these hundreds of sidekicks, the kind of, I guess you could say in some ways, similarities to The Exorcist, but done in every possible way better. The Exorcist was shit. Let's just get that out of the way. And it had horrific imagery in it of this young girl, probably like, what, 12 or 13 years old, her body being twisted and broken around to try and escape from Mob's psychic hold, which was really fucking hard to watch. Impaling her father with a single strike with a hand, clearly, at least it would have to be killing him instantly. And in the end, Mob's not strong enough to do anything? And his memories are just erased and... The first season of this show impressed me. It did much more than I thought it was going to do, and it was much better than I thought it was going to be. But in the end, it still fell short in a lot of ways. While the second episode of this season was so far its best, it was really... It did everything right in terms of classic horror, in terms of a lot of supernatural folk legends and whatnot. It still wasn't, like, really up there for me. This episode is not only the best episode of the show, it far exceeds, I think, every episode of this show put together. And it's almost a little jarring. This episode was so fucking good, so fucking impactful, so fucking powerful. You could see how I'm awestruck by this. I don't know what to say. How do you react to something like this? It feels like, again, like it's on just this completely different level from the entire rest of the series, that it almost feels like it doesn't fit. It feels like it's a different series. It'd be like airing a Season 3 episode of My Hero Academia straight after the first episode of the series. The first episode of the series, which was kind of underwhelming, and even though it was a lot better in retrospect, was definitely one of its weaker parts. Airing a Season 3 episode right after that would be so jarring in how different they are in terms of quality. That's kind of what this feels like for me. Except the difference in quality is between every single other episode of this show and this episode. The difference in quality is that jarring. I don't know what I'm supposed to feel here. Obviously this is continuing in the next episode, and maybe even the episode after. But it's like, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to react? Everything about it was done right. None of the comedic moments felt out of place or felt weird. None of them felt ridiculous or stupid. The action, the art and animation, the voice acting, the story behind it, the imagery, everything was so perfect. What right does this show have to do this? This show has never been this fucking good. I'm not even joking right now. I'm not fucking joking right now. Mob Psycho 100 was always a show that I enjoyed, I liked, but was never this fucking good. It's always been a show that has been good quality. But again, this is so drastically higher quality than anything this series has done before. It feels out of place. Yet I can't bring myself to hate it or anything. It's obviously not bad. It's so fucking good, but it feels so out of left field. It doesn't even feel properly built up to. But I almost don't care, but I do care, and because this guy, this Mogami K guy, was never mentioned before. And I don't think, at least nothing that I can think of, was built up to him before. If the cold open of this episode with Dimple and this other guy and everything had been shown at some point in season 1, or even at the beginning of the first episode of this season, that would have been great, and that would have worked a lot better to build this up. But as it is now, the fact that it just came out of nowhere in this episode, it feels so out of place and so random. And to have something this big, something this phenomenally amazing come out of nowhere? I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. I loved the episode. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. But it came out of nowhere. There was nothing to build it up previous to this episode. The rest of the series has not been on this level. Not even in a fraction of this level. I can't talk about this anymore. I have nothing else to say that wouldn't just be repetition. There's nothing more I can say about this episode. I don't know what to think about it. I legitimately do not have an opinion on this episode at the moment. I cannot process right now whether I'm even supposed to like that or not. I legitimately am so just thrown off by this episode. I don't know. I need to get into the other reactions I need to get to, because I can't. I have nothing. For those of you who knew big stuff was coming with this season, you're probably eating this up right now. But my head hurts. Like, Just thinking about this episode makes my head just ache. I need to move on to... I need to get to the other stuff. If you can figure out any thoughts to this episode at all, please put them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and for now, I'm Connie, and I need an aspirin. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles,